Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about the definite and indefinite articles with nominative and accusative. If you haven't seen the German with Puppets video that goes with this, go ahead and click on the puppets that are up there talking. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start. First of all, in order to understand any of this mess, you're going to have to first identify what is nominative and what is accusative, what is a definite article and what is an indefinite article. So we're going to start with the cases first. Nominative case is used with the subject. It's also used with something that I'm going to call a predicate nominative, which is something that comes after the verb that acts like the subject. But to keep things simple, let's just identify the subject as something that is doing the action of a sentence. So the person who is throwing, the person who is kicking, the person who is shouting, the person who is whatever, whoever is doing the action of the sentence, that's the thing that is going to be your subject. Now, a predicate nominative is whenever you have a subject on one side of the verb and something on the other side of the verb that is the same thing, essentially. So, something whenever you say ist, for instance. Der Junge ist mein Bruder. The boy and my brother are the same person. Therefore, we use nominative case on both sides of the verb there, because ist is going to take a predicate nominative. It's going to take a subject on one side and a predicate nominative on the other. Think of it this way. If you put an equal sign between the subject and the predicate nominative, you won't be able to tell much of a difference in the meaning of the sentence. So, the boy is my brother. The boy is the subject. If you put an equal sign in between the boy and the brother, you would have the boy equals brother. That's also true. It's not changing the sentence too much, and so that's a predicate nominative. Now, the accusative case is the one that we learn after the nominative, and that's because you have to have a nominative, and the accusative case is used with direct objects. Direct objects are the things receiving the action of a verb. So, for instance, if I kick a ball, the ball is the thing being kicked, and therefore is the direct object. It's the thing receiving the action of the verb. I like to call it the thing being verbed. Whatever is being kicked, what's being thrown, what's being sent, what's being verbed of some sort. So if you have a verb that takes some kind of an action, the thing receiving the action of the verb is the direct object. Now, the accusative case is also used with some prepositions and time elements, but that's not in this video. So we're going to try and focus on the direct objects portion of this first, and then we'll come back to the prepositional phrases and time elements at a later date. Now, in order to understand the rest of this, we have to identify several things. The nominative case, we've already talked about masculine, feminine, neuter, and plural. If you look up a noun in the dictionary, you're going to find der, die, or das. Der, die, and das are the masculine, feminine, and neuter definite articles. They're called definite articles because they are specific. They know exactly which one you are talking about. So, for instance, if I tell you to pick up the chair, you know which chair it is that I'm talking about because I said the chair, and I probably pointed to it at the time. As opposed to saying, bring me a chair just tells me I don't care which chair it is as long as I have a chair. So, that's why these are called definite articles, because they're basically just meaning the. There are other ones that are definite articles, and that's why we don't identify them as only words for the, but they are definite articles. Some people will also call them der Wörter or der words, and that's because they all essentially follow the pattern of der. The plural ones are all going to be die for the nominative and accusative cases. So anytime you have a plural noun, it's always going to be die. The accusative case only changes in the masculine. If you have a masculine direct object, you have den as opposed to der. So for instance, der Mann ist nett. The man is nice. Ich kenne den Mann. I know the man. The man is the one being known, and therefore is the direct object in that sentence. It's den Mann because it's accusative and masculine. The rest of them don't change. We have die Frau, and if you say die Frau ist nett, it's die Frau. If you say ich kenne die Frau, I know the woman, it's still die. Same thing happens with das Mädchen ist nett, the girl is nice. Ich kenne das Mädchen, I know the girl, still das. Now the way that I explain this to my students is that der is the only one that changes because der is the only one that needs to change. It's the masculine one. If you accuse a man of something, he should change. So we call this the accusative case, and the ones who are accused are the men, and he should change what he is doing. If you accuse a woman of something, you're probably wrong. Women are perfect. They don't need to change, and therefore we leave them alone. We keep die there. Once we get to the dative case, they will change, but that's what happens when you date them. Anyway, same thing happens here with the neuter ones and the plural ones. Think about it this way. The neuter ones have already been changed. So we don't have to change them again in the accusative case. We just keep them as das. And the plural ones could be kind of mixed company, and so we'll just leave them as die. So these definite articles, the ones that I wrote down here, are all words for the, and they all could also be classified as der Wörter, or der words. The indefinite articles are words for a or an. There are other indefinite articles, but we'll get to those at a later date. So, the ones in the nominative case, you've probably seen these before already. Ein for masculine, eine for feminine, ein for neuter, and the last blank here doesn't make much sense until we get to a later point in this class. Plural nouns are going to require something that is not a or an. You can't say a books in English, and for the same reason you can't say a Bücher or ein Bücher in German. So you would have to say here keine or meine or deine, seine, ihre, unsere, eure. There are other ones, but they all essentially end in an E, and that's all that I really want you to know out of this, is that it takes an E. If I want you to write some of these down on some worksheets or something, I will make sure that it says mine, and you just have to add an E or an EN, okay? As in the previous chart with the definite articles, we don't change the feminine or the neuter or the plural. They all stay exactly the same as they were in the nominative case, and as they were with the definite articles, the only one that changes here is the masculine. That one changes to einen, and you'll notice that we have here an N at the end of it, just as we did here in the accusative case for the definite articles. As a way to remember which ones do what, we have R, E, S, E for the nominative case der words, and we call this resse or risi, however you want to say it. N-E-S-E is what we call nesse or nisi. I personally like resse nesse, but that's just me. That's how I was taught. So we have here resse nesse. Eventually you'll get to mermen and surser, but that's the dative and genitive cases. There are 4 cases in the German language. Those are going to come up at a different time. Now you don't have such a mnemonic device for the other ones, for the indefinite articles. There's nothing really I can do about that. There's only 8 of them so far, so just memorize those, and we'll memorize the rest of them whenever they show up. Now here in section 3, it says that we're supposed to fill in the blank with definite articles. So that should be relatively easy. We start off here with Nummer 1, blank Frau hat blank CD. First of all, what has what in this sentence? We have woman and CD. Since the subject usually comes first in a sentence, we have hier Frau, and that's what we're going to assume is the subject, because it doesn't make sense that the CD would have a woman. We have here the woman. Since it's woman, we have a feminine noun here, die. Since it's the subject, we have die. Die Frau hat, and then we have CD. CD is also a feminine noun, and therefore we have here die. Die Frau hat die CD. The woman has the CD. Okay, simple enough. Nummer 2. Something about Leute kaufen, something about Schuhe. Leute are people, Schuhe are shoes, kaufen is to buy. Normally, people buy shoes, shoes don't buy people. We're going to assume that Leute is our subject here, and therefore we have here the plural die, followed by the plural die, because they're both plural, Schuhe and Leute, and so we have here die Leute kaufen die Schuhe. The people buy the shoes. Nummer 3. Mädchen hat Basketball. We have the word girl, basketball, and has. So we have the girl has the basketball. The girl is the one that's doing the having. She's the one doing the action of the sentence, and therefore we have here das. Wait a minute. Das Mädchen? Das Mädchen. Yeah, das Mädchen. Because it's a girl. You would think that it's die Mädchen, but because the word ends in chen, we have to have here the neuter, because anything that ends in chen is automatically made smaller. It's actually a form of Mädel, and so we have here das Mädchen. Hat. What is being had in this sentence is a basketball, and a basketball is a masculine noun, and therefore we have the masculine accusative, because this is a direct object, and we have here den Basketball. Das Mädchen hat den Basketball. The girl has the basketball. Nummer 4. Man kauft Buch. Man buys book. It works that way. It does not work the other way around, where you have book buying a man. In some alternate universe, or in Soviet Russia maybe, that might work, but not here. So, we have der Mann for the subject of the sentence, der Mann. What is being bought here is a book, and since book is a neuter noun, we have here das Buch. Der Mann kauft das Buch. The man buys the book. In the next section, we have here fill in the blanks with the correct form of the indefinite articles. So we have to fill in the blank with indefinite articles, which are the ones from the second chart. We have blank Fenster hat blank Farben. Fenster is a window, haben again is to have, and Farben is colors. So we have here window has colors. Now we want to say a window. Okay? Fenster is a neuter noun, and so we have here ein. Ein Fenster hat. A window has. A window has no colors. Here we have Farben, which is plural, and therefore we have to have keine. Ein Fenster hat keine Farben. A window has no colors. Nummer 2. Junge is a boy. Bringt is bring, and Ball is a ball. So we have here masculine boy and masculine ball. Which one's bringing which? The boy brings the ball, or the ball brings the boy. Obviously, it's the boy that's bringing the ball, and so we say here ein Junge for a boy. Ein Junge bringt einen Ball. Here we have einen because Ball is a masculine noun. It's accusative because it's the thing being brought. Verkäuferin verkauft Karte. We have here Verkäuferin, which is a female salesperson. Verkauft, which is a form of verkaufen, which means to sell. Karte is ticket. So we want to say here, a salesperson sells a ticket. Verkäuferin ends in in, which indicates that it's a female salesperson, and therefore we use here eine. Eine Verkäuferin verkauft. And again here, Karte is a feminine noun, and so we say eine. Eine Verkäuferin verkauft eine Karte. A salesperson sells a ticket. Something Eltern essen something Huhn. My parents are eating a chicken. Or the other way around in some kind of a weird alternate universe, but here it says essen. Essen is conjugated to be plural, and therefore we have here Eltern as our subject. Eltern, being plural, has to be meine, my. This is a possessive, but it takes the same endings as the other indefinite articles. Meine Eltern essen. Essen is to eat. What is being eaten is Huhn. It's das Huhn, and therefore we have to use the neuter ein word here, which is ein. It's accusative, but that's kind of irrelevant that it's accusative. It's the thing being eaten. Meine Eltern essen ein Huhn. My parents are eating a chicken. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more German with puppets, click on the box. If you want to see more worksheet explanation videos, click on that box. If you want to see some songs or some Märchen, go ahead and click on those boxes. And of course, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye now.